Most men think that love is built only through gifts, attention, and constant praise, but the truth is, love is rooted far deeper, in emotion, in timing, and in the way you make a woman feel without needing to say much. One of the most powerful and underestimated psychological tricks is the art of emotional imprinting a dark yet deeply human tactic that, when used with intention, can make any woman feel an unexplainable attachment toward you. See, women don't fall in love because a man looks good or says the right things. They fall in love with how he makes them feel in specific emotional moments. The key is learning how to create those moments deliberately and embed yourself into her emotional memory. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding when a woman is at her most emotionally open and being present in that exact moment with the right energy. It could be when she's frustrated with her day, when she's glowing with joy after a small win, or when she's in a state of emotional vulnerability, questioning her worth, doubting herself, or even simply sitting in silence with thoughts racing through her mind. Most people pass by these opportunities without realizing their significance. But when you step in at those times, not just with words, but with presence, you create something much stronger than affection. You create emotional imprint. A woman remembers the man who was there when her emotions were heightened. If she was laughing and you were the one who added to it, she associates you with joy. If she was stressed and you were calm and grounding, she associates you with peace. And if she was uncertain and you made her feel seen, you become the emotional anchor in her mind. That connection doesn't fade easily because the human mind doesn't store memories chronologically. It stores them emotionally. She might forget the timeline, but she will not forget how she felt in your presence. This is why random texting, daily good mornings, or constant compliments don't work. They blend into the background. What works is intensity and unpredictability, appearing not too often, but with impact. You don't need to talk every day, but when you do, your words must hit something real. You don't need to be the loudest man in the room, but your silence must be louder than everyone's noise. Create moments that matter. Leave her with feelings, not just phrases. That's emotional imprinting at work. Now, let's go deeper. You can also use anchoring methods, deliberate phrases, songs, or gestures that you consistently tie to specific emotional moments. For example, if there's a particular phrase you say when she's excited or a song that plays in the background when you're spending time together, her brain begins associating that stimulus with the emotion she's feeling. Later, even when you're not around, those triggers bring her mind back to you. It's not magic, it's psychological conditioning, and it works silently, invisibly, and powerfully, but with all power comes responsibility. Emotional imprinting isn't to be abused. It's not about manipulating someone into feeling something that isn't real. It's about using the natural wiring of the female brain to create deeper connection, one that goes beyond shallow attraction. You're not just becoming a man she likes, you're becoming an emotion she craves. That is the true essence of dark psychology, not darkness for harm, but mastery over the emotions that drive human love. Once a woman feels you in her happiest memory or her most vulnerable thought, you're no longer just a man, you're a part of her inner world. And that's a position few can ever compete with. Most men chase love with loud gestures, thinking affection grows through consistency alone. But a deeper, more mysterious form of attraction emerges when you introduce one subtle shift. Scarcity. When you understand how to become a rare presence in a woman's life, someone who doesn't beg for attention but earns desire through distance, you tap into a psychological craving far more powerful than neediness. Women don't fall in love with men who are always there. They fall for the ones who know exactly when to be seen and when to disappear. When your energy is scarce, your presence becomes valuable. She stops taking you for granted, and her mind starts reaching for you even when you're not around. Scarcity isn't about playing hard to get in an obvious way, it's about making sure that your presence has weight. Most men flood women with attention out of fear, fear that she'll lose interest, fear that someone else might take their place. But in doing so, they become predictable, emotionally accessible, and worse, forgettable. The brain doesn't chase what it already has full access to. But when you introduce emotional contrast, when one moment you're present and deep, and the next moment you're unreachable, not out of rudeness but purpose, you train her to feel your absence. Her mind begins to replay your moments together, trying to understand why she wants more, and in that space of uncertainty, attraction grows. But scarcity alone is not enough. The second key lies in selective attention, the art of giving focused energy in ways that feel intimate, not frequent. When you speak to her, you don't just talk. You observe, reflect, and respond with intention. You're not the man who floods her phone with messages, but the one whose single sentence lingers in her mind all day. You listen when others interrupt, you notice when others overlook, and because your attention is rare, it hits different. A compliment from you doesn't feel routine, it feels earned. A touch from you doesn't feel casual, it feels electric. Your presence becomes a trigger for emotional stimulation because it is not freely available at all times. And here's the twist: the more she realizes that your attention can be pulled away, the more she fights to earn it. The mind resists what is forced but craves what must be earned. When you treat your energy like a currency and not a donation, she invests more deeply in the connection. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, it means choosing your moments with precision. You show up with full presence, then pull back with purpose. That rhythm creates a psychological loop that keeps her wanting more. She feels the loss when you're gone, and it makes your return feel like a reward. This balance of scarcity and selective attention forms a loop of emotional craving, but it only works when you're authentic. You can't pretend to be distant while secretly hoping she texts. You can't fake confidence while obsessing over her every move. Your energy must be centered and detached. You're not trying to make her chase. You're focused on your purpose, your path, and your standards. That energy is what pulls her in. It's the paradox of desire. When you're not seeking validation, you become irresistible to those still looking for it. A woman doesn't fall in love because you constantly show up. She falls when your absence speaks just as loudly as your presence. When she realizes that you could give your energy to anyone, but you choose her in rare, meaningful ways, her subconscious assigns value to you that no surface attraction can replace. She begins to see you not as just another man, but as a mystery, a rare energy that touches her deeply, then leaves her wondering when it will return. And in that wonder, love begins to form. When a woman speaks, most men listen to her words, but very few tune into her emotions. That's where the real game begins. The truth is, women don't fall in love with what you say, they fall for what they feel when they're around you. This is where the third dark psychology trick becomes powerful, the ability to mirror her desires not just her words. It means observing the emotional subtext beneath her conversations and matching your energy, your presence, and your personality to reflect what she craves most, even if she doesn't consciously realize it. You don't force a connection. You make her feel like you're what she's always been looking for. Attraction isn't logic-based. A woman might say she wants a nice guy, someone stable and consistent. But emotionally, she might light up when she's around someone with confidence, unpredictability, and quiet control. Her words say one thing, but her body language, tone shifts, and emotional reactions say another. When you learn to listen to the emotional cues rather than the spoken ones, you begin to craft interactions that hit her deeper than casual charm ever could. This is emotional mirroring. and it works because it bypasses the rational mind and communicates with her subconscious. You do this by watching how she responds, not just what she says. Does she lean in when you talk about your ambitions? Then mirror the drive she's attracted to. Does she open up when you speak with calm intensity? Then show her more of that stillness she feels safe in. The goal is not to copy her, but to reflect the emotional qualities she feels most drawn to. If she has a chaotic world, she'll crave calm. If she feels unnoticed, she'll crave someone who truly sees her. If she feels bored, she'll crave unpredictability. When you reflect that emotional solution, she doesn't just notice you. She bonds with you on a psychological level. What most men get wrong is that they try to impress women by showing them what they think women want. But women don't want to be impressed, they want to be understood. And emotional mirroring shows that you get her not just at surface level, but deep in her soul. When she says she's tired of fake people, you don't just say, "Same here." You respond with a moment of honesty that cuts through the noise. You show a piece of yourself that aligns with her pain, her desire, or her dream. That alignment doesn't feel manufactured, it feels destined. She starts believing the connection is rare, meant to be even if it was created intentionally, but it's important to know that this isn't manipulation when done with integrity. It's awareness. You're not becoming someone else to fool her. You're choosing to bring forward the side of you that matches what she needs, what she values, and what she emotionally leans into. Everyone has multiple sides: the confident, the vulnerable, the logical, the passionate. You simply choose the parts of you that resonate with her internal world. And the more she sees herself reflected in you, the more she sees you as a part of her. Attraction doesn't grow in the space of performance, it grows in the space of emotional resonance. When a woman feels emotionally seen, something shifts inside her. She becomes more open, more curious, more drawn. And when your energy continues to align with the version of herself she wants to be with, she stops comparing you to others. She starts wondering how she ever felt connected to anyone before you. That's the quiet power of mirroring her emotional needs. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And those whispers echo louder than any words ever could. Jealousy is a dangerous game. Play it wrong, and you'll lose her trust. But when used with precision and emotional control, it becomes a powerful psychological tool that can make a woman feel magnetically pulled toward you without even understanding why. The key is ***, creating controlled jealousy ***, not out of insecurity or malice, but to awaken her sense of competition, value, and desire. You're not making her feel replaceable. You're reminding her that you're not someone easily claimed. This subtle difference changes everything, because once a woman senses that other women admire or desire you, it reframes how she sees you suddenly. You're no longer just an option, you're a prize. Most men try to win a woman's heart by focusing solely on her, thinking that showing constant loyalty and undivided attention is the way in. But when your energy becomes too predictable, too easily accessible, it starts losing its spark. A woman's subconscious is wired to respond to challenge and validation through contrast. When she senses that your time, your attention, and your affection are valued by others, especially other women, it subconsciously elevates your social proof. It's not about being a flirt or openly showcasing female attention. It's about positioning yourself as someone whose presence is appreciated and noticed beyond just her world. Imagine this: you're in a room, confident, composed, and grounded. Other women notice you, not because you're trying to attract them, but because your energy speaks for itself. You're not desperate, you're not chasing, and you're not hiding. She sees this. Maybe she notices a woman laugh a little longer than necessary at your joke. Maybe she picks up on how effortlessly you handle social interactions, and in that moment, she begins comparing herself, not to you, but to the other women in the room. She starts asking, why does he want me? What do I have that the others don't? That quiet insecurity doesn't weaken her feelings, it intensifies them. Because now she wants to prove she's the one who deserves your full attention, but you must never weaponize this. The line between influence and cruelty is thin. Controlled jealousy should always lead her back to security, not anxiety. Once you ignite the fire, you must give her reassurance that while others may want you, you're choosing her. And you do that not through explanation, but through contrast moments where you pull back and then re-engage with warmth and clarity. You make her feel chosen, not manipulated. Controlled jealousy also works in digital spaces. A carefully crafted social media presence can send signals without saying a word. Photos with friends, interactions that show you live a full, socially valued life. These build a perception that you're in demand, even without flaunting it. Women watch quietly. They observe who likes your posts, how you carry yourself, what kind of women you're around. And when they notice you're not trying to be flashy, but you still draw attention, that mystery becomes irresistible. It makes them lean in. It makes them want to claim what others also silently desire. What matters most is intent. You're not making her jealous to hurt her. You're doing it to remind her that you're not emotionally dependent, that you have options, but you're still choosing her. That contrast builds a sense of emotional urgency within her. She feels the need to secure what she fears losing. And in doing so, she deepens her emotional investment. The truth is, women don't fall harder because they feel safe alone. They fall harder when they feel they might lose something they truly value. Used correctly, this tactic doesn't push her away. It pulls her in deeper. Not out of fear, but from an awakened awareness of your worth. And when she realizes you're not just desired, but discerning, she'll do everything she can to be the one you continue to choose. Sometimes the strongest emotional bond isn't built by showcasing your strength. It's built by revealing your scars. But not all at once, and not without control. The final dark psychology tactic that creates irresistible connection is what I call *** reverse vulnerability ***. The ability to open up just enough to make her feel like she's the only one who truly sees you while still holding your frame. This isn't weakness. It's the power to expose a piece of your inner world without losing your ground. When done right, it activates what many women unconsciously crave. The desire to heal, protect, and connect with a man they believe is strong, but wounded in a way only they can understand. You see, vulnerability becomes magnetic when it's not desperate. Most men either hide their feelings behind walls or throw them out in hopes of getting sympathy. Neither works. What pulls a woman in is when a man shares his truth from a place of emotional strength. For example, talking about a past failure, a heartbreak, or a lesson learned. But without bitterness or need for validation, shows maturity, depth, and trust. It says, I've been through pain, but I'm not broken by it. That's what makes her lean in. She doesn't feel like you're unloading on her. She feels like you're letting her into a place that others don't get to see. That access becomes her emotional privilege. The magic is in the control. You don't spill everything. You give her a glimpse enough for her to feel something stir inside. That stir creates a subconscious emotional investment. She starts to feel like she matters, like she's not just another woman in your life, but the one who sees you beneath the surface. That belief triggers the nurturing instinct. She wants to be the safe space for you. She wants to be the exception in your world of silence and strength. And once a woman starts believing that she has access to a part of you no one else does, her attachment grows deeper than logic can touch. But here's the twist: reverse vulnerability also involves ***, showing darkness ***, not just softness. You share your ambitions, your flaws, your frustrations, your internal battles, not in a way that demands fixing, but in a way that shows your complexity. Maybe you talk about a time when your ambition cost you a relationship, or when your loyalty was misplaced, or when you struggled with doubt but chose to rise anyway. These stories aren't told to gain pity, they're shared to create emotional resonance. And when a woman sees that you've walked through emotional fire and emerged stronger, she doesn't see a broken man, she sees a powerful one she wants to walk beside. This tactic also flips the usual dynamic. Instead of being the one trying to impress her, you allow her to invest in you emotionally. When she listens to your story, relates to your pain, or comforts your silence, she's no longer just observing you. She's emotionally participating in your story. That participation becomes bonding, and the more she feels invested in you, the more she wants to stay. People rarely walk away from what they feel they've emotionally contributed to. She isn't just falling for your smile or your presence. She's falling for the man she believes she understands better than anyone else. But never mistake this as an invitation to overexpose. Reverse vulnerability only works when you still maintain emotional composure. You're not dumping trauma, you're guiding her through selective truths. You remain in control of your narrative even while sharing it. That balance of openness and control creates the perfect tension. She feels close to you, but still hungry to know more. And in that emotional mystery where you're strong, yet open, guarded, yet honest, she finds a connection that feels rare, sacred, and real. Because in a world where most men hide or overshare, you become the one who shows just enough to make her feel like the chosen one. And once she feels that, walking away no longer feels like an option.